Hey, what happens when you set up a living trust behind the scenes? How do you make it work? How do you fund that trust? What are some of the pitfalls when you're refinancing, moving property around? I sat down with my colleague Lisa Keating for this episode of Wealth Protector TV. You won't want to miss this one. It's great. Let's go take a listen. Hi, this is Paul Hitchcock. Welcome to Wealth Protector TV. And I'm here with my colleague, Lisa Keating, who's an attorney at the firm. And this is an important topic. Lisa, thank you for being here. We're going to jump right into it. This is about setting up your estate plan, your trust. I've got my questions here we want to make sure we cover. But the first one, Lisa, has to do with you set up your living trust, now funding assets into the trust, because we see pitfalls here. So what's this about?
Well, often people will set up their trust and they'll want to list all their assets in the trust that they want the trust to cover. And they think that that's enough. Actually, listing your assets in the trust sometimes causes confusion because your assets change over time. Right. If your assets change over time, you do not need to update your trust unless it changes your underlying plan for how your assets will be distributed. What you need to do is put the name of the trust on your assets. For example, property, it's deeded into your name. You need to file another deed changing it from your name to the name of the trust.
Okay.
Bank accounts, they're in your name. They need to be in the name of the trust, or they should have the trust as the beneficiary. Same with investment accounts. Anything that your name can be put on, your trust should be put on or be added as a beneficiary.
Got it. Okay. Very good reminder. Well, what about here? The refinancing is always going on. Rates are moving up and down. People are doing different things with their property. What is the issue around refinancing when you have your trust? What goes on there?
Sometimes you'll find a lender that's willing to refinance your property while in trust. Some will take it out of trust for you for the refinancing. Often our clients will come to us to take care of that. And I've been working with a lot of lenders to make sure the proper deeds are lined up and recorded for them. The bigger issue is that once the refinancing is done, that the property is not always put back into trust.
You see that happen a lot?
I see it. We see clients come in all the time with their property that they think's in trust, and we'll do a review. And we didn't know about that refinancing. And we'll do funding reviews to make sure everything's in place. Funding is an ongoing process when you have an estate plan.
Yeah, because the danger is people forget to put things back into their trust, and then life happens, and the danger is probate and things aren't added in the trust.
Well, fortunately, if you once had it in trust, or you have some evidence that it was intended to be in trust, we can file a petition for you. It's still a court action. It could be short of probate. But one of the points of the estate plan is to avoid going to court altogether and simplify things.
Right. Yeah, you don't even want to go down that path.
No, it's as easy as filing the proper deeds.
Okay. So we take care of that for people. That's great. And so as you're refinancing, it doesn't have to be an issue. It can be taken care of. What about the property tax reassessment? You and I were kind of bullet pointing that earlier. What's going on with that issue?
Well, every time a property changes name, it is subject to being reassessed for property taxes unless there's an exemption. Right. There are proper exemptions for taking if we're going to be helping you with taking the property in and out of a trust, yeah, or an LLC or whatever else you need to have taken care of before you're refinancing. We know how to do it with the proper exemptions, and you shouldn't have it reassessed. You just have to be careful. It's something you really don't want to do yourself. And when title companies, loan companies don't want to handle the deeds to take it out of the entity into your own name for refinancing, that's their concern. They're concerned they're going to do it wrong.
Got it. Okay. So you have a good process for working with title companies, real estate professionals on these titling issues and making sure it's done flawless.
Lately, on a daily basis, yes.
What you say with love in your heart. All right. Well, so we're always looking at what about bank accounts, investment accounts, life insurance policies? A question comes up a lot. I hear of beneficiaries on retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs. Do you list the trust as a beneficiary or do you list an individual person? What's the school of thought there?
Okay, well, for non-retirement bank accounts, investment accounts, go ahead and put the name of the trust as the owner. If you, for some reason, you don't want to do that, perhaps on a small checking account or something, you can list the trust as the beneficiary.
Okay.
A life insurance policy, you don't need to change the ownership of a life insurance policy to the trust, but yes, go ahead and put the beneficiary of that life insurance policy as the trust if you wish to have those assets go to handle estate matters. Or you could list it to go straight to a certain beneficiary, that your intended beneficiary, and list the trust as a contingent beneficiary. The
Okay.
risk is always, what if you put a beneficiary down? You don't have to run everything to your trust, but what if that beneficiary isn't around? You need a backup, or you're looking at probate.
Okay.
You mentioned retirement accounts.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different. Retirement accounts, you obviously can't put in trust. They're already in a type of custodial account.
Right.
And in California, for married couples, they require you to put down your spouse as the backup beneficiary unless the spouse signs off on that. And that's an option. It doesn't have to be the spouse, but they'll have to sign off. But there's another reason why you actually want to list the spouse instead of the trust as a beneficiary. For retirement accounts, spouses have special spousal rollover benefits from the IRS, and it's just simple, list the spouse. But as the contingent beneficiary, list the trust. You always want to have the trust as the fallback bottom contingent beneficiary so it catches anything before it goes to probate.
Got it. Okay. And what about if something is missed, along the way, families transferring assets, someone's passed away and something's missed? What is the solution there? How do you avoid that?
Well, if it's real estate is what you really, really want to be careful is not missed. But we can go to, I mentioned before, there's certain ways around it, but they include petitioning the court. Aside from that, if you have up to about $166,000 in an estate that missed getting put into the trust, if the entire potentially probatable estate is that much or less, we can still use a small estates process to get it handled without going to probate. And that's what your will is for. Some people will talk about, well, do I need a will or a trust? Or they say, I've got everything covered, I've got a will. Well, a will normally means probate. We prepare wills for our trust clients that leave everything to the trust. And that whole purpose is if you have the smaller amounts in your checking account or something that they forgot to put into trust, they forgot to put a beneficiary on, we can catch it and throw it from the will, use the will to throw that into the trust and have the trust cover it.
Oh, great. Okay. So the will and trust go hand in hand a little bit?
Yes, it's not an either or. A will is a safety net in case something missed the trust. You don't want to have just a will, but you don't want to have just a trust either in case something's missed.
Right. Got it. Love it, Lisa. Excellent information. Really gets to the heart of what happens after you form a trust and some of the pitfalls. So thank you for sharing. Thanks everybody for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
When I'm in power, never see what you will believe. I singing